A single voice message, whispered in a family chat, from Janie Mackenzie, grandmother, to the missing. But listen close. Her words twist. They don't match. The tears on TV. What if this audio uncovers the truth about Lilly and Jack's last morning? Picture the scene. A quiet yard, children playing, then vanished. We'll dissect it, frame by frame, word by word, revealing clashes that chill. This isn't just a story, it's a revelation, one that could change everything. Hold on. The secrets start now. Fade in. On a misty Nova Scotia morning, May 2nd, 2025, Lansdowne Station, a remote home nestled in dense woods, surrounded by rivers and trails that stretch into the unknown. The air is crisp, the kind that carries echoes far. Lilly Sullivan, 6 years old, bright-eyed, curious, always leading her little brother into adventures. Jack, 4, energetic, playful, following her every step. They shared a life in this isolated place with their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, a woman trying to hold her family together amid challenges. Stepfather Daniel Martell, working odd jobs to make ends meet, and his mother, Janie Mackenzie, living in a modest camper parked right on the property, close enough to hear every laugh, every cry. That fateful day, the children simply vanished. The adults reported them missing. At precisely 10:01 a.m., their account, everyone was napping. After a routine morning, they heard the kids playing outside, their voices mingling with the sounds of nature. Then, an eerie silence fell. No footsteps, no calls, just gone. Police launched extensive searches, divers in the rivers, teams combing the forests, drones overhead. Yet, no trace of the children emerged, leaving a community haunted by questions. Janie Mackenzie stands at the center of this puzzle as the step-grandmother. She was there, an on-site witness to the morning's events. In her public CBC interview, she painted a vivid picture. The dog barking alerted her. She heard the children's voices, drifting from the swing set. She dozed off again, only to wake to Daniel's frantic yells. She stepped out, saw Malaya in the driveway, the panic setting in. But then, there's this secret audio, voice messages captured in Facebook Lives, or perhaps private family group chats shared in the days or weeks following the disappearance. In them, Janie responds to questions, offers details, her voice unfiltered by cameras or reporters. These aren't scripted statements, they're raw glimpses into her thoughts, the topics she touches on, the morning routine, the children's habits, subtle hints at the family's daily life. Why does this audio matter so much? Because it's unpolished, revealing tones, pauses that contrast sharply with her composed public persona. In a case where every word is scrutinized, these recordings act like forensic evidence, echoes of emotion, potential slips, inconsistency. The investigation remains unsolved to this day, with a substantial $150,000 reward still offered for information leading to the children. Public theories abound. Was it a tragic accident in the nearby woods or river, or something more sinister involving those closest to them? Family dynamics, financial pressures, past CPS involvements, all lingering in the background. This audio opens a window into those hidden layers. It invites us to listen closely, to detect the subtle forensic clues embedded in her voice, her choice of words. As we proceed, remember, this is about piecing together the puzzle, not assigning blame. It's about the unsettling pursuit of truth. But what exactly does she say in these messages? The setup of this audio situation reveals even more layers. Cut to the digital trail, where conversations unfold in the shadows of social media, Facebook support groups, buzz with concern, or perhaps tighter-knit private family chats, where voice notes are exchanged amid the growing desperation. Janie Mackenzie records and sends these messages. Her voice comes through steady, but there's an underlying fatigue, a weariness that seeps into her words. These were likely sent in the weeks following May 2nd, 2025. As questions poured in from worried friends, relatives, or even the public, she's answering inquiries, filling in blanks, trying to make sense of the unimaginable. In the audio, she delves into the children's personalities. She recalls Lily's commanding little voice. "Come on, Jackie, let's go play." She shares anecdotes about bugs fascinating Jack, painting pictures of their innocent world. These aren't just memories. They're woven into explanations of that morning. Now, consider her tone. It's casual, almost reflective, like someone recounting a fond story over coffee. Not the sobbing, heartbroken figure captured in her TV appearances. In the CBC interview, her voice cracks under the weight of emotion. Her eyes well up as she describes the last sounds she heard. The grief is palpable, raw, drawing viewers into her pain. But in this audio, it's markedly different. Matter-of-fact delivery prevails. "That's all I ever heard," was Lily calling Jack. No rising urgency, no tears, interrupting the flow. It's as if she's instructing or clarifying for an insider audience, keeping composure in a private space. Why choose this medium? Facebook, lives, or group chats? These platforms offer a sense of intimacy, messages meant for a select few, yet sometimes they spill into wider view, not like formal police statements, which are precise and documented here. It's more personal, less guarded. The topics she strays into add another layer, from the specific sounds of that morning to broader glimpses of home life. Financial strains, past visits from child protective services, the everyday chaos of a blended family. These elements echo in the background, subtly coloring her narrative. Her public statements, meanwhile, focus on hopeful pleas. "We believe they're still alive," urging searches, maintaining optimism. But the audio feels more detached, centered on memories, rather than active calls for action. This shift in tone, from vulnerable on camera to composed in private, unnerves. It prompts a quiet doubt. Is this the full picture? What if this contrast isn't accidental? What if it hints at a rehearsal of facts, or perhaps an unguarded truth slipping through? The disparity builds, a mysterious tension making us lean in closer. The lines themselves, though, hold the real key to understanding. Let's pull them apart, one by one. Zoom in now, under a forensic lens, to the audio snippets themselves. We'll examine key phrases, dissecting their meaning, their tone, and their potential implications. start with this. There was a bug. Jack would just say, "Where's the bug? Where's the bug?" It's a playful recall, evoking the children's curiosity, but consider the context, shared after their vanishing. Why introduce bugs here? It feels like a diversion into happier times, perhaps to humanize the loss. Yet the emotional shift is subtle. Her tone lightens briefly, almost nostalgic, without the sorrow one might expect. Contrast that with her public story, where grief dominates. No such anecdotes there. It's focused on the disappearance day. Next phrase, "That's all I ever heard," was Lilly saying, "Come on, Jackie. Come on, Jackie. Let's go, Jackie. Come here and play, Jackie. Come here and play." The repetition mimics a child's insistent voice, bringing the scene to life. There's a pause afterward, a reflective silence that hangs. Her delivery is even, steady, almost like storytelling. But in her interview, she ties similar sounds, specifically to May 2nd. Voices on the swing set, clear, timed. Here in the audio, it's generalized. Ever heard? Blending past habits with that fateful morning. Is this a small contradiction? A memory, blurring under stress, or something more? Another line. They were bright little kids. It closes a segment warmly, affirming their intelligence, their spirit. Yet her voice remains flat, devoid of the emotional crack, heard in TV clips. No wavering, no pause for tears. It builds an unease. These words should evoke pain, but they sound detached. These mismatches aren't glaring at first glance. They're subtle, stacking like layers of doubt. Habits versus the specific events of that day. Light tones clashing with expected grief. Small slips in phrasing. That could be innocent forgetfulness. Public theories often seize on such details, wondering if they're deflections from harder questions about the timeline or family dynamics. But we stay grounded. These are observations, not accusations. What if these phrases are windows into her mindset, revealing stress, or perhaps inconsistencies that need closer scrutiny? But the true test comes when we align this with the official police timeline. That's where the cracks might truly widen. The official police timeline is etched in reports, a sequence of events locked down from witness statements. It begins on May 2nd, 2025. The adults were napping after breakfast. The children were heard in the kitchen earlier. Then, outside, the missing persons call comes in at exactly 10:01 a.m., triggering an immediate response. In Janie's CBC interview, she fleshes this out vividly. She describes waking to the dog's bark. Around 9 a.m., hearing the children's voices, floating from the swing set, dozing off again inside her camper, then jolted awake by Daniel's yells. She emerges, spots Malahaya in the driveway, holding the baby, the realization dawning that something is terribly wrong. Emotions run high in that footage. Her voice trembles, eyes distant with grief. After that, nothing. The words, heavy with finality. Now, layer in the audio. Phrases like, "Come on, Jackie, let's play," echo the playing sounds, but without a firm timestamp. It's presented as a general habit, not pinned to that precise morning hour. This vagueness contrasts sharply with the interview's specificity. 9 a.m. voices, clear sequence, another mismatch surfaces. The police timeline notes: a quiet night prior, no unusual activities reported. Yet the audio hints at more: bugs, play, memories, blending into the background. Why introduce these if the focus is May 2nd? It subtly muddles the calm prelude. Described officially. Actions diverge too. In the interview, Janie positions herself as somewhat removed, staying in her camper, emerging only later. But the audio's phrasing, "ever heard," implies a deeper, ongoing awareness of the children's daily sounds, perhaps more familiarity than publicly described. Emotions provide the starkest clash. On TV, she appears heartbroken, her pleas infused with hope, tinged with despair. But in the audio, anecdotes come casually, shared memories, without the raw edge seen on camera, less emphasis on the nothing that followed, more on the lively past. There's also the polygraph detail. From June 10th, Janie's physiology deemed unsuitable for testing. The audio doesn't address this directly, but her public silence on it adds another layer to the intrigue. Why not clarify? In these private messages, these disparities, in sequence, in actions, in emotional tone, create an echo of doubt. They're not outright contradictions, but they accumulate, fostering that unsettling sense of something just slightly out of place. Time slips, emotional tones flip, details blur. But is this merely the fog of trauma affecting recall, or does it point to something else, a deliberate intent to shape the narrative? Here, two paths diverge in our exploration, each plausible, yet shadowed by uncertainty. We weigh them carefully, without tipping the scale prematurely. First path. The confused grandmother, Janie Mackenzie, is elderly, thrust into a whirlwind of trauma that day. Memories can fog under such pressure. Details blend, timelines shift. The audio may represent a stream of consciousness recall, where past habits naturally bleed into the events of May 2nd. Ever heard might simply be shorthand for familiarity, not evasion. What if those pauses in her voice are moments of processing grief, not calculation? The flat tone could stem from shock, a numbness that protects against overwhelming pain. Anecdotes about bugs, about play, perhaps comforting distractions, ways to hold on to the children's essence. Amid loss, she cooperated with authorities, attempted the polygraph despite the outcome. Her public pleas ring with genuine hope, searching for truth, believing. The kids could still be found. No concrete evidence points to malice. It's all circumstantial, easily explained by human error in crisis. But then, the other path, active cover-up. What if those anecdotes serve as distractions, steering away from probing timeline holes? Private chats like these could be spaces to align stories among family, ensuring consistency. Before public scrutiny, the clashes might feel calculated. Bright kids softening the family's image, countering whispers of financial strain or past CPS involvement. Emotional shifts from tearful interviews to calm audio, perhaps a rehearsed facade, cracking in private. Public theories often lean this way, suggesting the family knows more than admitted, motives tied to internal struggles. The audio in this view becomes something else, a shield guarding secrets, its casual delivery a mask for deeper involvement. Rhetorical questions arise. What if nothing after the voices means more than silence? What if it conceals an unsaid event? Why generalize habits if the focus should be that specific morning? Yet, no hard facts confirm a cover-up. Only shadows, suppositions, balanced against the possibility of innocent confusion. This teetering balance deepens the mystery, leaving us in that uncomfortable space between doubt and empathy. But the unanswered echoes from all this, they demand that we press on as we pull back. The biggest puzzles still loom large, casting long shadows over the case. Why does Janie blend everyday habits with the specifics of that morning? Is it a deflection from scrutiny, or merely a slip in weary recollection? The repetition of Lily's calls to Jack, charming on the surface, but why emphasize it privately? When the public narrative is so focused on loss, the tone flip remains baffling. Raw grief, captured on camera, yet a calm, almost instructional demeanor inside the voice messages. Was this a rehearsed shift, or the natural variance of emotion over time, and those gaps that continue to echo? The infamous 20-minute void in the timeline between hearing the children and the alarm. What truly filled that space? Quiet naps or something unspoken? Police stumbles add further layers. Were unverified witness accounts pursued thoroughly? Did initial searches overlook key areas, like the river bends, where later discoveries surfaced? The pink blanket clue found downstream, does it tie directly to the children, or is it a red herring amid the debris? These threads pull us deeper into the enigma, each one unsettling in its implications. The mystery persists, urging a continued quest for clarity for Lilly and Jack. Justice isn't just a word, it is a call to attention. Clues like this audio remind us that new details can surface at any moment, reshaping what we think we know. Staying informed means honoring their story, piecing together the truth with care, with respect, with diligence. If you value calm, evidence-focused analysis like this, you can follow Case Reveal for future episodes. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. In the coming investigations, we'll examine the pink blanket evidence, explore the disputed timeline gaps, and take a closer look at the moments that continue to puzzle observers. Together, we pursue answers. For the kids, for clarity, informed, respectful, relentless. The truth, whatever it may be, still waits.